I am Kayla, and this is my testimony, shared within my own voice and translated from Portuguese to English. Hi, my name is Kayla, and my story begins in a place of deep pain. I was in a relationship for 6 years. 6 years of giving, trusting, believing. I invested everything into that relationship, my time, my heart, my dreams. I thought it would lead to marriage, to a family, to stability. But what I didn't know was that it would end in one of the most painful betrayals I could ever imagine. He cheated on me, and not just with anyone, he cheated on me with my aunt. I still remember the moment I found out. It was like the air was pulled from my lungs. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. My heart was crushed, not just because of the betrayal from him, but from her too. 2 people I trusted, 2 people I loved, had broken something sacred. It wasn't just infidelity, it was a deep wound, a tearing apart of everything I thought I could count on. In the aftermath, I shut down. Emotionally, spiritually, I closed myself off. I felt small, discarded, unworthy. I started to internalize it all. Maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe this happened because of me. Maybe I deserved it. That's when a deep, toxic sense of inferiority took root in my heart. I started to believe I wasn't good enough for anyone, for anything. I became quiet. I lost my voice. I lost myself. And I didn't know how to handle the pain, so I tried to bury it. I started drinking, not socially, but to numb myself. I drank to forget, to escape, to silence the chaos in my head. I surrounded myself with people and with parties. On the outside, I laughed, I smiled, I danced. But on the inside, I was drowning. The friendships I had weren't real. The fun I chased was empty. I was running, hiding, pretending, and yet every night when the music faded and the crowd left, I was still left with myself, with the pain, with the silence, and that silence was loud. There was one night I remember so vividly. I looked around at the room I was in, the people, the noise, and something inside me just whispered, "This isn't who you are anymore." That moment changed something in me. I didn't know it yet, but it was the beginning of a new path, a shift, a soft turning of the heart. And I believe now it was God calling me, even when I wasn't looking for Him. Not long after that, I met someone new, the man who would eventually become my husband. He invited me to church. At first, I went with hesitation. I didn't really know what I believed anymore. But I was curious, and deep down, I was desperate for something real, something solid. And the more I went, the more I felt something changing inside me. It was like my heart, hardened and bruised, was starting to soften. I started to feel again hope, peace, even joy, though just in glimpses at first. I believe that was God already at work even before I fully knew Him. My husband and I accepted Jesus into our lives. We were baptized together. And that was the beginning of a new story, a story of healing, of rebuilding, of grace. But let me be honest, it didn't happen all at once. Healing is not a straight line. It's not one prayer and everything is perfect. It was a process, a long, sometimes painful process. One of the biggest things I struggled with was still that deep sense of inferiority. Even after giving my life to Christ, those lies still whispered in my mind. You're not enough. You'll never be enough. But the more time I spent in God's presence, the more those lies began to unravel. Little by little, I began to see myself differently, not through the lens of my pain or my past, but through God's eyes. He began to show me who I really was, that I was loved, that I was chosen, that I had worth, not because of what I'd done, but because of who He is. One of the most powerful ways I began to heal was through writing. I started a prayer notebook. I'd write down every emotion, every thought, every moment I didn't understand. I would pour it all out, my shame, my questions, my fears. And then I'd pray, sometimes through tears, sometimes in silence. But I kept praying. And over time, God began to speak to me in those quiet, hidden places. He gave me direction. He gave me peace. He gave me strategies to deal with my fears and insecurities. He began to give me back my voice. Even now, I still write. I still pray because healing is ongoing. Life still brings challenges, but now I have tools. I have faith. I have God. There are still moments that scare me, times when I'm stepping into something new and my old fears try to come back. But I've learned something important. Fear doesn't mean God isn't there. In fact, sometimes fear shows me I'm right where I need to be, out of my comfort zone, but held by His hand. Because nothing compares to the greatness of God. He has never let me down, never let me walk alone. And today, what I live in, what fills my heart and my home is peace. Not just the absence of problems, not just calm moments. I'm talking about a deep, steady spiritual peace, the kind that doesn't make sense, the kind that comes only from God. People walk into my home and say there's something different here. They feel the peace and I know it's Him. It's the presence of God living with us, comforting us, anchoring us. I used to pray, God, let your presence be so strong in this house that people feel it the moment they walk in. And today, that prayer has been answered. It's real. There are times I sit in my home or in quiet moments with God and I just cry, not out of sadness, but out of gratitude. Because I know who I used to be. I know how lost I was. And now I know who I am. And perhaps the most healing part of all has been hearing my family say they're proud of me. Growing up, I didn't hear that. I was always the one who people doubted, the one who no one expected much from. But today, my parents, my family, they see me differently. And when they say, we're proud of you, something inside me heals a little more. It's priceless. It reminds me that God truly does make all things new. Because today, I don't just live differently, I am different. I'm not the broken girl I used to be. I'm not the one hiding behind a smile or trying to drink the pain away. I'm not the one who thought she had no worth. Today, I walk in peace, I walk in purpose. I walk knowing who I am because of who God is. And when I look back at all the places I've come from, all the things I survived, all the healing I've walked through, I can honestly say I'm proud of who I've become. God rebuilt me from the inside out. He gave me back my voice, my confidence, and my identity. He gave me a family, a home filled with peace, a life I never imagined I could have. I'm still on the journey. I still have days where I need to return to prayer, to trust, to writing it all down. But I no longer walk alone, and I no longer walk afraid. I walk with Him. And if you're watching this right now, maybe part of you feels like your story could never change, that you've gone too far, or that the pain runs too deep. I just want to tell you, I've been there, I've lived that, and I am living proof that God can take even the most shattered heart and make it whole again. You're not too far, it's not too late. If He did it for me, He can do it for you too. Thank you for listening to my story. And may you find the peace I found, the kind only God can give.